Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gann, alongside my partner, Jack McNicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you have not had the chance, go check out our website, justsayingfootball.com, and follow us on Instagram at justsayingNoGWJS for article and video updates. Jack, jumping into the 4 p.m. Sunday games, man, and some Sunday night football action in this one, but let's just start right now. Cleveland Browns going back to Kansas City. A little bit of playoff rematch here. What you got for us?
Well, this one, I think we're going to have a full Patty Mahomes, Baker Mayfield shootout here. I'm really excited for this. I think that Baker Mayfield's out for a lot to prove. This Browns team's out for a lot to prove this year. OBJ's coming back. This defense is looking good. These are going to be two top contenders in the AFC, and this is going to be so much fun. I think this is going to be a really high-scoring game, too.
Yeah, Brown's coming back with some vengeance in this one, but the Chiefs revamped their offensive line. The Browns revamped their defensive line, adding in Jadeveon Clowney. Then they got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in the draft. They're looking good. They're looking healthy. They're ready to slow down Patrick Mahomes. Honestly, man, I kind of like them in this game. I think they might get the surprise win. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to say Browns are going to win week 1. I feel like they're going to surprise everyone. The Chiefs are coming off of a Super Bowl loss. We haven't seen that. We don't know what this team is going to look like with its new offensive line. I think that we know what the Browns are going to be able to do, which is run the ball really, really well. They have 2 great running backs, arguably, I think probably the best running back tandem in the NFL.
I agree.
Then they're going to really utilize that. And under Stefanski, he was great with the Vikings with play action pass. I think they're going to show a lot more of the play action passes here. OBJ is back fully healthy. Hopefully he has a good season. Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper. I'm gonna bet on the Browns offense in this one. I'm actually gonna go with them right off the rip.
Wow. I mean, what a way to start. I mean, I wouldn't even call it a hot take in my way, but it is because, it's hard to bet against this Kansas City team and the way that they've played the last couple of years, except for the fact that they lost in the Super Bowl. But like you mentioned, revamp that offensive line. That's good for Pat Mahomes. That's good for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Gives everybody a lot of space and time to let this offense develop. And when we've seen this offense develop, it's super creative, super high octane. I'm very excited to see what the Chiefs are going to do this year. But like you said, on the other side, Baker, the running back tandem, they're going to be able to control the clock in this game. I think that their defense is also really good. They have a very underrated secondary, a lot of high draft capital guys in there, Denzel Ward, Grant Del Pitt, a lot of guys coming up. And I think that they actually added, Josh Johnson as well from the Rams last year, who had a great season. So I really think that, they're going to be able to kind of slow down this Kansas City offense. And that was kind of their goal this offseason. So I'm actually going to go, with Kansas City on this one, because I do think that, the Browns are going to have a tough time in that Arrowhead Stadium. But I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic game to kick off these late afternoon games.
No, absolutely. I just want to clarify. I do still think that the Chiefs are the dominant figures in the AFC. I don't expect them to just have a massive drop off at all just because they start at 0-1. Still expect them to win a lot of games, even hovering around like the 14 mark. Moving on. Green Bay Packers taking on the Saints. What you got for us?
Wow. I mean, we got to get famous Jameis some love here. He's QB1 now in New Orleans, pretty pristine position that Drew Brees held for a long time there. So, we're also looking at the other side, Aaron Rodgers going into his potential last year, looking like his last year in Green Bay. 2 big arms in this one. No Michael Thomas for the Saints, but there is going to be Devontae Adams for the Packers, and I think he's going to be a huge problem for New Orleans.
Aaron Rodgers is back, man. That's all the Packers fans and Packers front office really care about. That's all the entire offensive unit really cared about. That's all this team cared about. That alone is going to help win them this game. I'm going with the Packers right off the bat. I don't know what to expect from the Saints. This is the first time we're not going to see them without Drew Brees. There's no Mike Thomas in this game. They don't really have a true wide receiver 1 right now. Obviously, they have Kamara, and he'll be featured a lot, and he'll do what he does and score points and do things like that. Absolutely. I think Jameis Winston is a good quarterback. I think that he could succeed and find success in this offense, but I don't know if it's just going to click immediately in week 1. I like the Saints defense. I think they have a lot of playmakers, but I just think that the Packers are just going to come right back at it. They're so annoyed with the NFC Championship game. They're going to take it out on the first team that they see. Aaron Rodgers is coming back. I don't expect him to be slowed down whatsoever. And again, similar to last season, I feel like he's angry again, and that's not good for any team playing him.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not good for anybody, especially a Saints team who really has to figure out what this offense is gonna look like. Like you pointed out a great point here. They do not have a number one option in the passing game right now that they can truly rely on. Jameis, in the past he has had a lot of great receivers. He in Tampa he had Godwin and Evans. That's not the situation here. So I think there is going to be a big adjustment period for the Saints, as well as the fact that they probably won't be playing the first half of their season at home due to Hurricane Ida hitting New Orleans. So they will be making adjustments in that realm as well. And I think that the Packers right now they're ready. I think that on all sides of the ball they're looking good. I think they could be a top 10 offense and defense. The Saints they have a great roster. They have some great key pieces, but I do have to go with Aaron Rodgers in this one as well.
Yep, he's just coming off an MVP season. That's what he does. He knows he might leave next offseason, kind of show that he still has it all in the tank. Moving on, Denver Broncos taking on your New York Giants in New York, buddy.
Wow.
Come on, you got to be excited. You got Kenny G on your team,
I
Daniel
know.
Jones third year. It's supposed to all come together. Tell us what you think of that.
Well, it's supposed to, but I'm looking and waiting for Kenny G to look, his, the way that he did out in Detroit. But it's very exciting. A lot of changes made this year. They went out and addressed, they re-signed Leonard Williams. They went out in the draft. They got Kadarius Toney, got a nice deep weapon. I think Sterling Shepard is going to have an insane season this year. He's a very underrated, receiver in my eyes outside of being a Giants fan. But, I think that Denver presents an opportunity here where you're facing kind of another team where they're trying to figure out what's going on, with their offense, and they have a lot of weapons as well. I am really, really excited for Saquon to come back. I hope they bring him back the right way. But this Giants offense, this Giants defense, I really do believe in them this year. I think that I say this every year, but the division's weak enough where, I think we can really take advantage. And, we've been talking about it all offseason. Daniel Jones has to improve. I think Denver, although their secondary is going to give him and the passing game a tough time, I think this is a winnable game for the Giants, in my opinion.
Right off the bat, I just got to mention Teddy Bridgewater started for the Broncos, man. Super happy he's getting the starting job. Always happy for him. I've been, loved him since we drafted him with Minnesota. Really happy for his career, and that he's a starter now.
Yeah.
I like this offense though. I think he's going to provide a little bit more than what Drew Lock has done. Drew Lock has been very inconsistent. I know Bridgewater has done the same, but there is a larger pool of Bridgewater doing well that we've seen, and I think he now has playmakers around him do well. Fancy solid tight end, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton's back healthy. I like KJ Hamler. This offense is built for success, and Melvin Gordon is a solid running back. They got rid of Phillip Lindsay. They let him go, so he's going to be the main guy going into the season. I do like Javonte Williams, a running back that they drafted. But what I'm most excited for is the Stevens. Von Miller's coming back healthy. Bradley Chubb's coming back healthy. And then they signed Kyle Fuller in the offseason. That's a Vic Fangio guy from way back in his Bears day. So you're talking about the Giants defense. I think this is going to be a solid defensive matchup, but I think that the offensive unit of the Broncos can overcome that. I'm not sure what Daniel Jones we're going to get this year. I don't know if he's going to put it all together, and those question marks have me a little worried. So I'm going to trust the Broncos defense and their offense, and the Broncos are going to get done in New York. I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be the prettiest game. I think that both of these defenses are super scrappy.
Good defenses.
Good defenses. I think that's what it is. But it's just kind of interesting because Daniel Jones really has to figure it out this year. Teddy Bridgewater, like you mentioned, is really trying to hold the reins on this QB1 job here. So it's going to be a lot of questions going in, but it's going to be very interesting to see this game play out and kind of see what these offenses are going to kind of look like this year.
Absolutely. Speaking of offenses, we have two Alabama quarterbacks and first-round picks going up against each other. This next one, Miami Dolphins heading to New England facing the Patriots. A lot of familiarity there between the players. McCourty is now with the Dolphins. They have, I think they have Eric Rowe, Brian Flores, obviously from that Bill Belichick branch. Thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you mentioned. I think that the story is the quarterbacks, these young guys that, that a couple of years ago, Tua was a top prospect. Mac Jones was, not a top prospect. They both went to the same program, played for Saban. Tua played for a long time. Mac Jones earned his, job as a senior. They both got first round bids, as you said. And what's insane to me is, how well they've been able to develop so far. Both of them, have gone kind of through a different path. Last year, too, with, having kind of the season back and forth with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and now Mac Jones on the other side, kind of getting his, kind of getting the faster pace and being QB1 off the gate. I think that, that you've brought up so many times, Sean, where the Miami defense is sneaky good. They have Xavier Howard. They have a lot of different guys that just shut games down. And this system that Flores has in place is really good. On the other side, I think that it's tough because I think that Bill Belichick is out for blood this year. I think he's gonna, he's got Matt Judon, he's got Hightower back. I think he's trying to do the huge double linebacking blitz packages off the edge and just disrupting the quarterback. I'm going to be interested to see how Tua reacts week one in this next year for this. But how are you feeling? I mean, I know you've been kind of interested in both of these teams this offseason.
Yeah, I like both these teams. I've been big on the Dolphins since last year. I wrote an article. I said that they were going to do well. They did great. Exceeded a lot of expectations. Super happy about that. I think Tua gets a lot of hate, a lot more than we would normally give for a quarterback who's only played in like 7 games. So I think this year, just to appease people, he more needs to do really, really well. But I think he does have some time to get through some learning curves. He did come back from a big injury last year where he broke his entire hip. So let's give him some slack there a little bit. I am really excited about this matchup, though. I really like that they decided to go for Mac Jones, the Patriots. I think he looks really comfortable in that system. I also think when you're looking at this Patriots team now, you have all this Cam Newton film from last year, which was so run heavy. They didn't even throw for 10 touchdowns in the air. Then now all of a sudden you got Mac Jones, who's not that kind of quarterback. So now you got to go back to the Brady. You got to go back 2 years ago, back to those offensive playbooks and their lineups and learn all these the small, minute details about this offense. But obviously every year that these things change. So it needs to be that much harder for defenses and for teams to plan for this Patriots offense, which is really going to work in their favor, especially with their signings like Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. These are the two tight end sets that we saw in the mid 2000s going way back when. And I think that Daniel Jones, I think that Mac Jones is going to have a pretty small playbook to enter in his game one. I think we're going to see a lot of running. I think we're going to see a lot of just short, medium passes. Are going to be high percentage looks, high percentage passes. Keep it simple for him in his first game at home against a division rival. We don't need to do anything crazy. We'll rely on what the team needs to do. That's the Bill Belichick mantra, and that's how we're going to win this game. And that's why I'm going to lean with them. I think that Bill Belichick will come out with the better scheme. I think that McDaniels will put together just a better scheme. I think this game could potentially be pretty medium scoring. Like I could see it like a total of like 45 maybe. And that would be an interesting game for these two former quarterbacks from Alabama.
Yeah, and like honestly, Miami and the Patriots are one of those games where every year, usually you see it at the end where they're kind of taking each other on, and one of that, the Dolphins are trying to take the playoff hopes away or a bye week away from the Patriots, but now both these teams have young quarterbacks. Very interesting to me. I think that the weapons, like you mentioned, that they've put around these guys. You have Nelson Aguilar, you have Jonnu Smith, Jacoby Myers was great last year, and
you're Sony Michel. See a lot of Damian Harris now.
I was gonna say Sean's guy, Damian Harris, is gonna see a lot of action, as he mentioned, a lot of running. I'm expecting. One matchup I really am interested in this one is Will Fuller being suspended. Means that Jalen Waddle, somebody we didn't get to see too much about in college, but was a top pick this year for the Dolphins. He's going up against, going to be going up against J.C. Jackson because, the Patriots aren't going to have Stephon Gilmore. So J.C. Jackson had 7 picks last year. I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. A speedy guy like that against a corner trying to prove himself again. That's just one matchup that I'm very interested in this one.
Yeah,
but I am going to go with the Patriots in this. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I like their defense too much.
I just got to mention, speaking of quarterbacks, Dolphins still have Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. It's crazy to me that they have both those. And Howard had a great season last year. I think he was up there for like 6 interceptions in 2020, right up there with J.C. Jackson.
I think he had 10 last year. He
10?
finished out. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Way more than I said. I said he had less. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Thank you for that correction. We got the Chicago Bears taking on the LA Rams in the kickoff for Sunday Night Football Week 1. Thoughts on this game?
Ooh, Matthew Stafford against this Bears defense, man. I'm excited. And Andy Dalton, against this Rams defense. I think Matthew Stafford, I've said this to Sean a bunch, but him and Sean McVay, I think are gonna, they went on vacation together already. They met when they got signed. Like I think Matthew Stafford
going to school together.
Yeah, I think exactly. I think Matthew Stafford and Matt, they're looking for an MVP kind of season right now, and McVay, man, he's able to get this done. He's able to put up 30 points. Jared Goff had some great seasons under him. And Matthew Stafford is going to go off this year. I think Cooper Kupp, I think Robert Woods are in for big years, Tyler Higbee. But this Bears defense, they're no pushover. Neither of these defenses in this game are going to be pushovers. It's going to be a nice, like, scrappy Sunday night game.
No, you have two of the best defenders in this game, and Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack. It's definitely going to determine the defense is going to determine how this game is really going to be played. That being said, a lot of familiarity with Matthew Stafford and this Bears team. He's played it his entire career against them when he was with the Lions. So he's going to know this team pretty well. And he played a lot of years against Matt Nagy and what they like to do over there. So I'm leaning in this game towards the Rams. I trust Aaron Donald. I trust Jalen Ramsey to really get after Andy Dalton, make him uncomfortable, not allow them to use Montgomery to the full effect that Montgomery is able to do. I think after week 1, there's potential that people are going to be saying Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Week 2, I think this could be one of those games that ends up being lopsided because I'm with you. Matthew Stafford is an absolute baller. Dude played with a broken back. Dude played with a broken ankle. Dude played with every type of injury you could ever imagine. And it's one out there, I'm going to throw for 300 yards and some touchdowns and still lose the game. Now he's with Sean McVay. He has Robert Woods. He has Cooper Kupp. He has Darrell Henderson, who's going to be a solid running back. He's going to have all the pieces he needs, the offensive line, and now he has the defense. It's all coming together for him. The schemes that McVay puts together are fantastic. Well, I think that these defenses can both play really, really well. I think that the Rams just going to have a lot going on for them, and Stafford's familiarity with this team is going to really overpower them and get them the win in this one.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, one thing for us that we always talk about is the flow of the game, being able to control with the run game. But David Montgomery, had a great end to the season last year. But this is not a week 1 matchup that you want for a running back like that. He's a workhorse back, and if he's not getting those big breakaways, it's hurting his confidence. But I think that he's going to have a good year. This is just going to be a tough matchup, like you said. I think Jalen Ramsey is going to make Andy Dalton uncomfortable. And I don't think Matt Nagy, the way that he has shown us the last couple of years, what he's been able to do with Mitch Trubisky, I think we're going to see the same kind of limited offense with Andy Dalton. I don't think that Andy Dalton carries that weight that Matt Stafford does, where you're like, he can go to a new team after 10 years and, he can come in and do it. We saw him play in Dallas last year with good receivers and he did struggle. So I think, we're definitely going to be looking to Fields soon. But I think that in this game, Andy Dalton's going to have his hands full with this Rams defense, and I'll take the Rams 100% in this one.
Agreed. I'm going over the Bears schedule right now just to pull it up. The following week, they play the Bengals, which is a team that Fields could potentially start against. Then they play the Browns. Wouldn't want to put them up against a playoff guy that early on. But then they play the Lions and the Raiders. I'm just saying, if Andy Dalton does very poorly, and I mean, like, he is struggling, the offense is not working, I think if after the first 3 weeks it's not going for him, I think you got to put him in against the Lions. That's a team that he can beat. Yep. Then he plays the Raiders. That's a team that he can beat. Yeah, he's gonna have to play the Packers and the Buccaneers left, but that's just football. So you're gonna get sometimes shitty schedules,
Yeah,
and the Bears are one of the hardest. But if Dalton doesn't start out well, there's a chance for him to start in early. I think if Dalton's able to do maybe semi-decent, we're talking like 250 and 2 touchdowns maybe, and he's able to just move the offense. But even if he's not winning games, but he's able to just move the offense, maybe you start him later on in the season. But I do genuinely think that if this Rams game goes lopsided towards the Rams, I don't know if they wait that long the way Nagy's been talking about it.
And, even in respect to Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, who I think are going to be awesome, once they get Fields in here and he has a little bit, more flexibility with his arm. But the defense of the Rams, the secondary out there, Jalen Ramsey in and of himself, I just don't feel the confidence that if they fell behind, they would be able to rely on their pass game through Andy Dalton. I think that, I think, like I said, this Bears team could have an interesting year. This offense, they're just going to need to make some interesting adjustments and decisions for them to get a little bit higher pace. I don't see them being that high pace under Andy Dalton.
Yep, I agree. Fields look great in the preseason. I was really big on him coming in this draft, but that's all the time that we have. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you as always for supporting. Check us out, YouTube, like, subscribe. Check us out on justsayingfootball.com and check us out on Instagram, justsayingogwjs. Thank you.
Thank you.